Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining today's session. Hope you had a great week. And it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday, and we're here to spend this time together, just this 1 hour, to learn and to support each other. You know, this evening I was just thinking about God's love. You know, there are many things that people are using Friday evening for, but there are some special families who are there either hurting or feeling really alone. And today we just choose this time again to just spend this time to support these families. This is why we do what we do. Once again, my name is Ladi Stephen. I'm the co-convener of the Breathe platform, and we're excited this evening to be talking again on the part 2 of the special needs children. And this evening we have someone that I deeply respect. Her work with special needs children. I have not met anyone who has as much love for special needs children in my encounter with people who work with special needs children. Whenever I talk about her, I remember how her face lights up when she's talking about the work that she does with special needs children. And I just imagine this is such hard work. How could someone have such joy? Please join me this evening as we welcome Miss Ruth James. Miss Ruth, please. You're looking really beautiful.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we hear you clearly. Please, anyone who is on the call, put in the chat. Welcome, Miss Ruth. Tell us where you're from. Again, we're streaming this live on YouTube as well. So those who are on the Zoom call get the chance to ask questions. You can put your questions in the chat. For those who are watching now and those who will watch later, it will also be on YouTube. Thank you so much, Miss Ruth, for joining us this evening.
Thank you very
Please
much for
tell us
having me.
about your beautiful self. Tell us about yourself and what you do.
Okay, my name is James Ruth. Actually, James Ruth Fell Udosora. I'm married. I'm an educator in Nigeria, and I've been a teacher for over 10 years. And I have worked closely with special needs children, supporting them and helping them get to where they're supposed to. Yes, I have passion for education. I like teaching children, and I believe that every child can learn. That's my own take. Every child, it doesn't matter what, like, I'm not seeing the disabilities. I see past through any disability and try to make sure that there's an inclusion. Yes, that is it for me. So every child can learn. Every child should. It's not privilege, it's a right. Thank
Wow.
you.
Wow, that's amazing. What a way to start. Every child can learn. I see past the disabilities. I think we're just going to crop that and put that on social media because that is so rare. Every child can learn. I see past the disabilities. Thank you so much, Miss Ruth. When you talk about special needs children, who would you say is a special needs child? Who is a special needs child? How can we recognize that this is a special needs child?
All right. Special needs children, for me, I feel generally per se, they are children who struggle to meet the normal milestones, or the struggle to meet the normal, yeah, let me call them milestones that other children are meeting up to. Any child struggling to meet up to the normal, like what is expected of a child is tends to be special needs. Now, if you sometimes it's they are giving birth to like that, and sometimes it's developed, and it's something that they pick up on the way. So most times it's not always, how do I put it? It's not always by birth. Okay.
Hmm.
There are ones that
No,
like they are giving birth to like that, and there are other ones that just develop over time. Yes, they pick them from the environment. So any child having issues, you know, attaining the milestones that a child at a particular age is supposed to, yes, they are called special needs. And then it is not, for me, the label thing, I still struggle with this label thing because, like I said, some are giving birth to, and some just pick them on the way. The same way they picked them, the same way they shared it off. That's it.
Oh,
So
oh,
at a
I
time
guess
they
this
are
is why.
special, at a time they are no longer special. So it's for, like I said initially, it's for the inclusion, and then for both the parents and the educators and the community to do the work together. I think that's where it's I think that's where it's not able to come together because the community was just, everyone just, not me, they are not concerned, they are less concerned. And then some teachers are also less concerned. Some parents are maybe in denial or still, looking at what people will think. But I feel when there's unity among these three, everything comes together. And the
Mm.
same way they picked it up, they shared it off. So at the end of the day, nobody's really special, in quotes.
We
They
just
become,
have
yes.
children. Oh, that's so amazing. So as an educationist over the years, working with special needs children, what would you say are some of the misconceptions that you have seen either from parents or from people generally around about special needs children, about the particular special children that we're talking about today? So some of the general misconceptions. Um,
Okay, when
that you've
I
seen?
started introducing myself, I said something about how they are not included. Now, you see, I said every child can learn. The first misconception is that a special needs child cannot learn, cannot be normal. That's why I said they pick it up. The
Mm,
same way they pick it up, they share this. I've seen it happen over time. Anyone else can argue with their keypads, but that is what I believe. And I've seen it happen. Okay, so the first misconception is that a special needs child cannot learn. I've worked with a cerebral palsy child, worked with a Down syndrome child, ADHD, autistic children, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, dyslexia, you name it. The
mm,
neurodiversity of them all, And at the end of the day, they learn. It might not be learn like first class, but they get to be in the society. They do what other children can do, and that is that. So that's one of the
mm,
misconception, especially it is huge here in let me just I don't want to put it to only Nigeria, but African countries, they just feel that, especially if their faces don't look like the faces of regular children, you just feel they just exclude them. And that for me, it's
mm,
very heartbreaking. It breaks my heart every time. I have a very one experience like that. I remember vividly there was a school I worked where we were into the special needs thing a lot. And then there's this woman that, you know, had her own child, in quotes, normal, as they say. And then the other child was actually a Down syndrome child. And then there's a way the school actually includes children. They don't discriminate or something like that. We teach and work on them. And then this woman came into the place where she saw the child mixed with other children. She was like, hell no, her child cannot stay with the other children. And why is that particular child? Why are those children there? And my mom was like, really? Does this thing happen? And she was really serious that she was going to withdraw her child. And her child was also special. But she
mm.
was just still feeling, I think the child was actually, was it ADHD or something? Okay, so just because his face is not like that of the, Down syndrome
Yeah.
child, you just feel that your child is more like the golden child or something. I don't understand. Like she was threatening brimstone and fire that she was going to withdraw the child. We had to pacify her, talk to her, lots of talking to before she agreed. And God, like I was teary, and I'm like, really, is this it? So that is one thing. You just feel that the children with disabilities cannot learn, and I think that's the greatest one for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Wow, this is so powerful. And you're very correct when you say this, because I think this is one of the reasons why we do what we're doing, to just help also to address some of the misconceptions around this. I remember having an experience back in the when I was in university, and I was trying to take on an extra job. And I got to this house. I was trying to, like take up jobs as a lesson teacher. And I got to this house, and oh, the lady, she was so full of love talking about her child. But when the child, eventually she brought out the child, I realized was a special needs child. And she told me how she had to pull out the child from school because of this very same thing that you were talking about just now, about how people treated the child really badly, and differently. And she wanted the child to have a normal childhood. But, every time she tried to get the child in school, she couldn't find a place where they would relate with the child normally. And that's why she decided to, get to try homeschooling. So these misconceptions that you're talking about, they are real, and they are still here with us painfully, So um, just diving into this, deep diving a bit into this, what you just talked about, what would you say is the role of schools? Like when I relate with you on you're talking about special needs children, sometimes I wonder, did you get some special training to be able to love? because you do this with so much passion and love. For me, is the love part, which is usually what isn't really there, right? What is the role of schools in ensuring, in caring for these special needs children and enabling them to have a normal education, to go through education normally? What is the role of schools in your opinion?
Okay. The rules of schools should be, because we don't have it. We are yet to get there. I wonder why special needs schools are super expensive. Like, it breaks
Mm.
my heart. I do not know why. Why should it be very expensive? I mean, come on. Why should they pay extra for already what they're going through? Like, why do they have to pay? So I feel the
They're
role
already
of,
expensive enough to
yes.
care for the
Why,
child.
yes, why are you not making it expensive because you want to include them? And they are, I think, to be honest, with my own experience, I think they are making a mountain out of a molehill. They're just heightening this thing and making it look as if fire is burning. There's no fire burning anywhere. The thing is this: the rules of schools should be the role of schools rather should be not roles. It's more than one. They should be able to include these children, okay? Include the children such that make them feel loved. For one, this individualized education plan, the IEP
Mm,
thing, and yes, it should be something that is a regular in schools. When you build a school, don't make it just for, oh, you just want the very beautiful. I don't know how to explain it. The very beautiful, the very wealthy. You don't want to, I don't understand. You should make room for that. You should be open. Proprietors and proprietors should be open to receiving special needs children too. Find train teachers. You don't have to train. I know the whole ABA certification thing is quite expensive,
mm,
but we know that there are little things that can go a long way, like the therapy, which can even be done at home. Some of these therapies can be done at home. Love
mm,
is not expensive. I don't think love is expensive. Train these teachers to on the right way to treat these children. Most of these children, what they want is love. They want to be
mm,
cared for. They just want attention. When a child is
mm,
given the right level of attention and love and care, most of these things become stories. Train these true teachers how to, care, the minders. And then when including these children in your schools, have this shadow. There's something we call shadows. I remember this school I worked. We had shadow for each child, even as they are that's each special needs child. As you are including them into the general classroom, you have a shadow for that particular child so that that child is not frustrated when carrying out class activities. The shadow is there for that particular child. And then it shouldn't be very expensive. The shadow is there to guide the child. If there's anything that is being taught in class, this shadow helps break down into little, smaller tasks, direct, um, clear instructions that the child can grasp. Now let me use this Down syndrome child as a point of contact, because I actually thought that she was in the mainstream. She was in my class,
mm,
and she was learning, she was spelling, but she had a shadow, and it was not super expensive. I don't They weren't really paying so more than the other children per se. They weren't paying so much more than them. She was just there. The shadow was there. It's just about attentiveness, including them.
mm.
These people don't want to include them. Most schools don't. Oh, they don't want to be associated. They don't want their schools to be known for such. And then you see the ones who bring out their minds to do. They make the money very expensive, such that parents cannot afford.
Got it. Mm,
So yes, I think the role of schools, the basic role now should be the inclusion. They should open up their minds to receive special needs children. It's not that hard, really. And okay, for example, even this youth cohorts that are coming out, you could train them, okay, train them on how to care and be attentive to these children. even start from there before we talk about the therapy, the nutrition, and the whole, medical assessments and all that. Let's even start from the care, the love, and attention. I don't think we buy them with money. That's what I feel.
Mm,
Yes.
mm.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miss Ruth. I would really love to know a bit more about this shadow, this shadow
Shadow
model that
teaching.
yeah,
Yes.
this shadow teaching. And it's also a very powerful angle that you mentioned about, including maybe the youth corpers, people
Yes.
who are fresh graduates from school, or
Mm-hmm.
also supporting, because there are those who are posted to schools, right?
Yes.
That they can form part of the workforce and the
For taking care
love,
of special needs.
yeah,
Yes.
for providing the support that is needed. Oh, wow, that's so powerful. How do you, as an educator, like I said from the beginning, listening to you, it really sounds like it sounds less of a, a a big job than it really is, right? How do you track the progress of special needs children that you work with? Because I know, like you said, in defining and assessing a special needs child is is many times linked to the delay in attainment of milestones, right? So how
Yes.
do you, as an educationist, track the progress of these children in their education and in other aspects of growth that you measure as an educationist?
Okay, so the thing is, most schools just focus on the academics. I feel the right way to actually track this thing, okay, everyone don't have to agree with me, yeah? I'm talking from my
This is your
experience.
experience.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now the thing is, we focus more on the academics. What about the behavioral, their emotions count, their behavior count? We're also supposed to be able to track that. Now, for example, an autistic child who one of the traits of an autistic child is not being able to um, form relationships or interact. Now, if that child is included, for example, in the mainstream or in the general classroom or education sector, once this child is even able to share his or her toys, that is a progress that should be rewarded and noted. It's a
Mm,
progress because the child has started sharing toys, reaching out to other people, making eye contact, you know, um,
mhm,
being with other people, wanting to be around other people. That's one thing, but sometimes it's overlooked. It's nothing. You shared your toy, so what? You're talking to other people, but it's not easy for that autistic child. It is one of the milestones that other children, it's just easy to say, hello, you come to class. An autistic child will want to stay on his or her own and not want to mingle. When that child starts mingling a little here, a little there, it should be tracked as progress. It's a huge milestone. It should be rewarded and appreciated. Not just math, English, spelling, writing. This we focus too much on these things. And you see this basic math, English thing. I always say this thing. At the end of the day, as a child grows, they get to learn this thing. For example, a child who is in a reception class who don't know how to spell or whatever. By the time the child gets to year one, you'll just see that after that holiday, like the long vacation, they come back to class. You just see that voila, the child knows how to,
mm.
write, hold the pencil, has firm grip, can spell, and it age did it. The development, the natural, the way God created it, that is how it is. The child copes. But we forget this little, emotional, an ADHD child who has problems, um, um, how will I say it, expressing themselves. Instead of using words, they either use their fists or they use they do it angrily and scatter everywhere. Now, if this child starts expressing him or herself with words, being expressive with words instead of using fists, it should be rewarded. It's a
Mhm.
progress. It's a very huge milestone because you know that healing has started and then everything is calming down and the child is learning, not just focusing on math because you might be teaching that math. The child is cannot
Mm.
really express that he or she does not understand that thing you're teaching. And the child acts out in a way. What you label that child as, you're very stubborn, you're this, you start punishing, you start doing this. But in the real sense, that child is an ADHD child. And then you need to take it easy. Maybe your teaching style is not what it is. Find a way of changing it.
Mm.
Differentiated, this is where we bring in differentiated learning. Okay. Schools should also try differentiated learning, not one style of teaching. It must be one style of teaching. If it's not working this way, try to group the children into different learning abilities. We have the high abilities, the low abilities, the medium abilities, and give
Mm.
them at their pace. When you give a child what the child cannot do, the child becomes frustrated, special needs or not. Even normal child, if you give the child what the child cannot handle, the child becomes very frustrated and shuts down. So the thing here is, um, we teachers should try as much as we can to reward both behavioral and emotional progress. That's another thing we can track, not just the math and English academics one. When they do something that ordinarily that particular child cannot do, especially emotionally or behaviorally, that child should be rewarded and feedback should be given to the parents. And also, the teacher should also liaise with the parents such that ask how the child behaves at home. If the child was not doing such and such at home and started doing in school, you know that there's
Mm.
progress. You understand? And if it was not frequent at home and is now frequent in school, that's progress. And it should be as important as the academics area. Yes.
Wow. Wow. This is really something. Not just tracking the progress because it's school, not just tracking the progress of the child academically, but on all other aspects because the
Yes.
child is so a whole, right? The child is
Yes.
not life of the
In
child
parts
is yeah, so it's not in parts, whether the
in
child is at
school.
home, whether the child is in school, is the child
Yes.
is living life. Yeah. Um, I go back again to your opening statement where you mention you don't look at the disabilities because every child deserves
Yes.
to learn. Um, what valuable the society is placed on children. Every child deserves quality education. Um,
Mhm.
when we look at some of the challenges that special needs children face in their attainment of milestones, how do how do you as educationists draw the line between challenging the child and accepting the condition, the current realities or the circumstances of the child while the child is working towards attainment of the milestones, because now the child is in a regular class with other
Yes.
children. Yeah, so how do we balance that challenging the child um, to, attain those milestones?
All right. So, how do we balance it out, challenging the child and also while accepting their limits? The thing is, in as much as you want to, I'm sorry, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. In as much as you want to um, push the child and make the child learn, we educators should be careful not to overdo it. I think the simple thing there is cutting the task, in as much as the child is included in the general classroom, the task of that child should be achievable. The goals set attainable and achievable goals. Don't give too much. And that's why I said differentiated learning. you know that child's ability already, and you know that in as much as the child is being included there, that doesn't mean you should give the child more than what that child is able to handle. Cut the task into attainable goals and achievable, reasonable tasks, something the child can do. And then also, you should be firm because, yes, just like you're firm with other children, don't educators should not now say, okay, I want to go, don't go pity pity. It's okay to be, empathetic and all that, but don't go too soft because you're also you're trying to work on the child and you're trying to make that child better. Don't go too soft. Don't go, let me, I'm pitying the child. Oh, the child will not see. Most of these special needs children are stronger than the so-called normal children. They are stronger. They have larger hearts. They can withstand more pressure than normal children. So when you as an educator, you're going, oh, pity me, pity, they don't need that. And you see, normal children, special needs children, whatever you call them, learning disabilities, they can see through you. The moment
Mm.
they know you are pity me, they will bend their neck very well for you. They will bend this like this and do this puppy dog look and not even care about what you're saying because they know you're going to pity them. So you have to also be firm. But being firm doesn't mean that you break. Just be firm. There should be a level of firmness. Mix the firmness with
Mm.
love. That's the way it works. As you're firm, just like, like let's use this, how this kind of rat bites. There's a particular type of species of rat. They say if you want to bite you to be blowing your